you've found a happy place. It's a game show. That's right, a radio game show, where we can have a few laughs as the contestants battle for the big or not so big prize. It's an adult show, guys. Our first episode is Wednesday night at 7 p.m. on radiofradio.com.
Adolani said WDMF.
It's Tuesday, it's 8 p.m., it's time for Pops. And you know what's great? Having a microphone in front of your face.
Glad you found it.
I just went to talk and do the intro for the show and realized that the mic was nowhere near my mouth. And that's
what she said.
Like, damn it.
She didn't say that.
I'm Matt, there's Keith, there's Sarah. We're all here. The gang's back and reunited after a week of fractured friendship.
I'm sorry, I'm back.
Oh my gosh.
Take me back as your friend?
Friendship.
Jeez.
I'm just all on the alliteration kick tonight.
Wow. You really hated that he was gone there?
No.
It's because women outnumbered you.
We had Mary. Well,
that's probably what it was.
A lot of the time when I was talking.
Did they beat up on you?
They just stared at me glassy-eyed. Like,
get that a lot, do you?
No. I let them have the show. I was like, go ahead. We talked
Isn't
about
he
toddlers
benevolent?
and
Yes, it's so nice of you.
I know. He is
Both.
such a magnanimous.
Did they even bring you sandwiches?
We talked toddlers
No.
and we talked tiaras. Everybody knows that I have a secret. Okay, I guess not everybody knows I have a secret. I have a secret kind of like, what do you call it? Indulgence.
I thought you were going to say a secret twin brother that died in utero.
No, that would be awesome, though.
Wouldn't it?
His name would be Tam. He would be awesome and not dead. Yeah, so I got a kind of like a guilty pleasure, and it's like garbage reality shows.
Like Toddlers and Tiaras.
So I've watched a lot of Toddlers and Tiaras. But like if anybody else is in the room, I'll just like make grunting noises just to freak them out, which I probably shouldn't do because
no, that's a
you
good
should
way to
not.
get
it got me
yourself on a list.
I got on
yeah.
a list. It's not even deserved. I feel bad about that. So what's your favorite episode of Toddlers and Tiaras?
It's not.
Let's start with Keith.
I have not seen a full episode, so I can't say. I watch it. I say how all the girls look dead inside and their parents are horrible people, and then I walk out of the room if it's on. Because it's now on in my house.
Now somebody who does. Now, are you an expert? Do you find yourself to be a Toddlers and Tiara expert?
No, I don't. It's a background noise show. So I mean, you know, I had it on yesterday, and I think I would lay down and die if I was focusing on it.
I think a lot of people would.
I mean, I
think a lot of people have.
It's a background noise thing. I was like watching Toddlers and Tiaras and putting away laundry, you know, and doing my nails and playing on my phone. Like it's not something I pay attention to.
If you did have a child.
Never in a million years.
Wouldn't
not
make a
ever. I would.
Well, just think about how great she would be when she grows up.
If the kid said to me,
gets to be about 26.
Mommy, I really, really want to enter a beauty pageant.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
But
and if anybody in my family said to me, I will pay the grandiose expense. I will take care of everything. I will be the one. You don't have to do a thing. You don't have to lift a finger. Still, I would lay down in front of that person's car before I let my child participate in a beauty pageant.
How will she ever become a face of anything if she doesn't have...
She will never be the face of anything.
Other than the love and admiration in your heart.
It's a good thing we're not parents.
Look at this guy. I think he's kid ready.
I think he's kid ready too.
You shut your goddamn mouth.
Won't listen to me.
I'm not the one who said something like that.
So yes, no Toddlers and Tiaras, but it's a guilty pleasure show, and it was just because I ran out of Teen Moms, and I ran
Which
out
is
of.
also another horrible reality
Okay,
show.
now the Teen Moms I can't watch.
Yeah.
I just get angry.
I take that back. I have watched one reality television show, Jersey Shore. I watched the first season of it.
I did not watch that show.
Oh, it was a train
Could
wreck
not
and it
get
was
into it.
glorious.
As you guys as has been well documented on the show, me and Justin are both huge fans of The Real World.
Whatever happened with that Real World marathon you boys were gonna do?
We didn't do it.
Okay.
We forgot to watch.
It's
the
a
show.
lot of. It's a lot of time.
Yeah, you guys are busy with the radio station.
Well, I started watching Buffy again.
Okay.
because I was sick over the weekend, so I watched a lot of Buffy.
All right.
By sick, I mean playing World of Warcraft.
No, I think you're
Buffy's the
legitimately sick.
perfect- And I am legitimately sick. Say what?
Okay, don't.
Yeah, there you go.
If you can help it.
We don't
I
need
don't
you. We
wanna
don't
get
need your
sick.
germs.
What? My germs are sanitized. I drank a whole bottle of sanitizer, hand sanitizer.
Well,
That's
I
probably,
feel like it works just as well
probably
It does.
healthy.
on the inside.
Yeah, it does. It totally does. That's how that works.
Get
It's
rid of all
science.
those germs. It is science, exactly. What was that video game from the early '80s? The
Boy and his blob.
no, there used to be a Crest video
Mario
game.
Brother. Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
I-
with the what is it? We hurt gums and teeth, or
Yeah, I forget what it was. Cavity Blaster or something.
um.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
I know. Hold on, I am too. Crest video game.
It's for the 2600, and I always wanted it, but I never got it.
Crest on Steam.
Crest on.
Indirect God game Crest is rough.
What is this?
I have no idea.
Apparently-
what you guys are talking
Oh man, this is like tentacle fingers all over again.
It's we're down the tentacle hole.
Don't no no tentacle hole is not a
Speaking of tentacle hole, you
no
found-
no. That will never be a segue to ask me a question. I am no one's tentacle hole. Are we
You-
clear on that?
you found a hot dog merged with a hamburger,
Oh, that's right.
and it was the most. It looked like a
What did he
snake
call
that
it?
had
The
eaten-
ham dog?
The
Yeah.
ham dog.
Yeah, and they made a bun for it. It's
The
like
bun is it really is a work of art. I think it looks terrible.
I don't know if art is the word I'd use, but yeah, the ham dog. That was
about. Like
that-
Lance Armstrong.
breaking.
It's just one wiener, one nut.
Yeah, big nut.
It was a big nut.
Health
yeah.
health concerning.
How big is
But the
this
other one's
nut?
gone. The other one's gone though.
Yeah.
Where'd it go?
I don't.
And
Do
to
you
some
think you have to
Cancer.
keep it?
oh,
right.
oh.
That's right. I forgot people don't just have that because it's not like cosmetic.
Right.
There's almost always.
Or you're losing in a lightsaber, attack.
I guess if it comes at you hard enough.
Are we still talking about testicles? Because
Hey Matt, what's trending?
oh God,
With
yes,
me.
please.
Don't we have news or something?
Not a lot of it. So we got plaque attack. That's it. Justin found
Oh, nice.
it. It wasn't Crest.
Oh well, that would explain
It was
why I'm getting remove scratches from any disc using toothpaste.
For the Atari 2600. That's why I don't
No,
recognize it.
there was also a Crest toothpaste. There was another one called Tooth Protectors. Deflect tooth rotting food particles from injuring your precious pearly whites in this adventure game. Adventure game is adver game. Available only by mailing and proof of purchases from Crest toothpaste. Wow, it looks like a. Oh boy.
that sounds like the kind
Video
of
games
game.
have come a
No,
long
but that
way.
sounds like the
Thank
kind of
God.
game that I would like
Would you mail
play.
away for
No,
some
I
Crest?
wouldn't mail away for it, but if I happened to have it in my house for some reason, I'd plug it in one day when I was bored and I would be blasting all the dangerous food particles from my pearly whites.
Kool-Aid had one too.
Was
Yeah,
it just like the guy crashing through all the
It was a Kool-Aid man, and that's exactly what it was.
he just crashed through all the walls?
That's
Yeah.
all I'd need from a Kool-Aid video game.
That's really all you need, man. You guys are lucky to have grown up in the NES and above times, because the 2600, the ColecoVision, they were rough systems. They were hard to play. It's not fun to go back and play those games.
Yeah, but if it weren't for that, we wouldn't have what we have now. So.
I play a game called E.T. I
Heard about a
played it
game.
all the time.
Heard about that game.
We
And
watched
all
a,
it did was punish me by it just put me in holes.
we
You never get out of those
watched
holes.
we watched a
That-
documentary about it.
That game was the reason for the video game industry to about
It was.
shit itself.
And
I remember a time when you could go in and there would just be like how you see like bargain DVDs in those big bins.
Mhm.
It would just be bins and bins full of like 2600 games for like $3-4.
Yeah, well, the ET was the one. There was a documentary on. They whether or not Atari actually put them in a what's the landfill?
Yep.
There we go. And sure enough, they
They
found
did.
some stuff that spoiler alert, they
Not
found
a
some
good
ET
game.
games down at the bottom.
I still
Atari
remember
Game
playing it.
Over is what it was called.
You just have to
Yeah.
go. Oh God, just looking at the intro screen brings back bad memories.
Of Tooth Decay?
You'd have to go through and like collect pieces of a phone, like how you put the phone together to call home.
Oh, you're talking about ET. Sorry, I thought
Yeah.
you were on. Okay. Yeah, I'm
And
with you.
You would occasionally just fall into holes for no reason.
All
and
right.
sometimes there were little dots that would be
Like
Reese's
Pac-Man?
Pieces.
Okay.
I remember what they did, and there were like 5 screens. And eventually, if you called home, you could get your spaceship fly off.
Did people ever actually win the game?
I feel like I have,
Okay.
but it wasn't easy. Most of the time, I just fell into holes, and that's where I would lay.
In real life or the video game?
Both. A little bit of both.
Okay.
It's a tough time.
Well, you know, it
The
happens.
early 80s were weird. So weird. So you guys want to do a little news?
Sure. What do we got today?
Oh, so much news. You have no idea.
Lay it on.
Probably the most news we've had ever.
Really?
I may just be making some of these news up just to fill the time. Okay, well, let's get into it. Let's get into some news. A bunch of people won Emmys over the weekend. I don't know who.
The People
I don't
versus
know
O.J.
for
Simpson
what.
did really well, I think.
Was that that's a show?
It was a show on FX. Because
Yeah.
they won a bunch of awards, and I was like, ooh, I wanted to watch it anyways before, it won all these Emmys, but FX has their shit down on lockdown. I mean, we'll probably talk about it later, I'm sure,
I
but
still
you
haven't
can't-
seen Atlanta. I'm
the first
dying
episode's
to see
free on
Atlanta.
iTunes, I believe. So if remember how they
Yeah.
did for Preacher, same kind of thing.
I think I got it through View because I do that PlayStation View
Okay.
in lieu of a what do you call it? Cable.
Hulu,
Cable.
Netflix.
Oh no, I got
okay.
all that too.
Okay.
Too many streaming foreshadowing. C. Martin Croker is dead.
That's disappointing because we
Yeah.
saw him at Richmond like a week and a half ago. No
yeah,
lie.
and I went and got prints from him from where? Michigan?
Rhode Island, I
Rhode
think.
Island. Yeah, he was a really nice guy.
Do you
Yeah.
think, just in case you don't know who this is, he's actually really influential. He worked on the old Space Ghost Coast to Coast show.
Which Adult Swim has put on
Which-
their website.
I am so excited.
You can watch a bunch of Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
They need an app
And-
just for Space Ghost.
Yeah, you just go to the
Space
website and
Ghost
watch it.
I mean, Space Ghost basically single-handedly started Adult Swim. I remember when that came out in the early '90s. It's all I wanted to watch.
I can see that.
That and Mystery Science Theater 3000.
I was just a bit young for it, so I would see it on sometimes, but I thought it was weird at the time.
I would stay up until 11 o'clock to watch it,
Okay.
and it was only 15 minutes long, so it was weird.
Yeah.
But I've never laughed harder.
Like there was
at
one where
anything.
Jim Carrey was on, and Jim Carrey was just like out of his mind when he was on the show, and I
Yeah.
was like, this show's weird.
Because what they would do is they would take interviews that were just straightforward interviews, and they would cut them up, and then have Space Ghost ask weird things,
But
and
was
then
the-
have them answer it out of context.
Was the interview specifically for that show, or was it they
It
took
was.
from the other?
No.
interviews?
It was
Okay.
specifically for that show, but they would take things out of context and
Okay.
play with it, and it was a brilliant show. And there's no way we would have any Adult Swim if
yeah.
it wasn't for
No, I can see that.
for that show. And he played Zorak and
Yeah.
and
Which was the
Moltar.
giant praying mantis character.
And then Moltar, the lava guy that was in lava. It was such a weird concept because did you ever watch any of the old Space Ghost cartoons like
No.
the
I
Hanna-Barbera
mean,
stuff?
I knew of it, but that was it.
They were like legit villains, but then they threw them together and he has a talk show. It's
Yeah.
such an insane concept.
Well, it's kind
that
of like Harvey.
works so well.
It's kind of like Harvey Birdman, which
Yeah.
I'm sure that was
kind
inspired
of like
by.
the evolution.
Yeah, Harvey Birdman was the lawyer for all these Hanna-Barbera characters, and it probably spawned from how well Space Ghost Coast to Coast did.
Well, Aqua Teen started on Space Ghost.
And Aqua Teen.
And Aqua
Yeah.
Teen was like, I don't think that if I were to watch it now that I would love it as much as I did. But I started watching it when I was like 18
Yeah.
and was completely obsessed with it. And I have seen, and I watched it until it got, like it was always really weird, but then it got like really
Yeah.
weird. So around like season 5, I think I dropped off. Season 6 maybe, where there was all the dicks in that one episode. That was where it kind of lost me.
Weird.
The dickisode.
That's the one that got me. I was like, I'm in.
But like,
Well, see, I remember you trying to get me to.
Dickisode.
I remember you trying to get me to watch it in college.
Did she tell you about the Dickisode?
No, because
no,
it
the
was before,
dickisode had it was
this was
before
like
the,
this was like 2-3 seasons in
this
at this point.
predated the dickisode.
Yeah, we actually watched like DVDs. They're these round circular things that they had images on.
Yeah, and the thing about
remember those.
DVDs is that you cannot separate them from their cases ever.
They were like tiny. They were like tiny laser discs, right?
Yeah, and
basically.
they have to take up a lot of space, and you have to accrue as many as you can.
I'm in on
And
this.
you
Because you never know when society's going to crumble,
Yeah.
and you have to use those as currency.
That's right. You never know.
I,
So you have to be the last person in the world lining up at Best Buy to buy DVDs.
Look.
We maybe have some
remember-
baggage
I
about this.
remember how
What's
awesome.
this we? I don't have any baggage.
I remember
I just have a
how
bunch of
awesome
DVDs.
were.
I'm going to be rich when the society crumbles.
But-
you guys.
I had lots of failed relationships, and with each failed relationship, more and more of my DVDs went away.
He's gonna get if we ever break up, he gets the DVDs. But back
Buy
to
them all.
Aqua Teen.
I have an exponential amount of DVDs more than she does.
The ones that I have are, I mean, we got rid of a
Gilmore
lot of
Girls.
mine, and
Toddlers and Tiaras.
She has a
season
Sex and the
1.
City box set if anyone wants to buy it.
I do
That
have
thing is fantastic.
Yeah, the Pink Bible.
You're not gonna turn me against Sex and the City. Sex and the City.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. I just
Those two movies are complete garbage.
I think I got roped into seeing the first movie.
Oh, the movies are. I hate the movies, but this show, I've seen every episode. I love them. I love Sex and the City.
All right.
So you, I will not jump on your.
I love
will not jump on your
sex.
man wagon.
I love cities and I love sex, in a city, but
That show was well written.
it was a good show.
And it was good.
I'm not
It-
against it. I
well,
just
that was
never
a
got
big
into
part
it.
of the HBO having really awesome content. I mean, that was that
The
was
golden era.
They still do.
they
the early
still do.
2000s,
Yeah,
though.
they have a really good
nothing beats
legacy.
Nothing beats that. I mean, starting in '99 with The Sopranos, and
Yeah.
even Larry Sanders Show, which is news item. Larry Sanders Show is going to be available on HBO Go in its entirety, which I'm very excited about.
That'd be nice.
'Cause everybody knows I
Westworld
love,
started too, and I haven't gotten a chance to
Did it
watch it
start?
yet. I think I saw a review for the second episode.
Maybe hitting some Westworld when I leave here.
I don't know.
Good to know. Yeah, I don't think anything will be as good as that run that HBO had right out of the gate, where they really took that Sunday night.
Yeah, 6 feet, 6 feet under. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever cried at the end of a show. But now, to be fair, they cheated.
Yeah.
They cheated in the finale, but I've never cried at anything. It was bad crying.
I cried at the end of 6 Feet Under. And I only saw the last season because my dad loved it, and he loved it so
best.
much that he watched it all the way through a few times. And he's not really a big repeat viewer, or he wasn't. But then the last time he watched it again, which happened to be the last time he did, in his life, I was there. And I watched the last season with him, and I didn't know anything really about the characters, so he explained it all to me. And even at the last episode, I lost it.
I don't know if you could do it because you have that tie, but if you go back, the rest of the series is also really good. In fact, the last season is probably the weakest because things got really weird with some deaths. That
Yeah,
didn't make
I
sense.
believe you, and we have. I mean, we just have.
But you're backlogged.
Well, that
And if
we
you haven't watched The Sopranos,
Well, that and we just. Oh no, I've seen The Sopranos.
okay.
But we just have so much on our list.
Are you serious? Are you
Yeah.
serious?
Yeah.
Of course he does. Is it in DVD form?
No, I said I haven't
seen it.
You haven't seen The Sopranos?
No.
Okay, now let me just say something.
I thought you said I have it.
Let me
No.
say something
No.
with all seriousness because this I find amazing. The Sopranos is probably the single best television show ever that has ever come on. And you have to go watch it right now.
Well, all right, bye.
It didn't appeal to you, or you just missed?
it was on HBO, right?
Yeah.
I never had HBO.
Yeah,
never
I
had
saw
any,
it after the fact.
I didn't buy the DVDs. I
Okay.
just never.
I mean,
Well, those HBO DVDs were expensive.
to
too.
be
Yeah.
fair, I saw The Sopranos when I was on overnights, and it was during the writer's strike.
yeah.
So that's when I caught up with that. It's when I also watched Arrested Development and caught up with How I
Yeah,
Met
I
Your
watched
Mother.
the Arrested Development
on
then
Amazon.
when Hulu was free and they didn't do commercials.
Yeah.
And about that time,
old
I was
days.
going through some family shit and I was broke as hell.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's on
there's that.
Amazon. Shuffle some priorities. What you watching right now?
Battlefront, Last of Us.
Yeah, I know. What are we
You're on the
watching?
gaming front.
We
We've watched one episode of Arrow.
We watched one episode of Supergirl. Oh my God, we're so
because
behind.
she decided she wanted to get in. She can't do what?
I can't get into Supergirl. I don't
Yeah,
know,
but
I don't know what's. I don't know.
I mean, they're gonna
I'm
start.
3
They're gonna.
episodes in.
They're gonna start bringing this whole Greg Berlanti DC universe, TV universe
Maybe I'll
together.
start again.
That's
with
kind of
second
what.
season.
Well, this is kind of the thing is, she's in the middle of your book. You've mentioned that on the show, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. She's in the middle of her book, and she's looking for inspiration, and the characters have inspirations from a lot of the stuff that happens in Flash, Arrow, Supergirl. Whether she realized it or not, I was, if you want some, hey, here's how to write, something like this, or here's some more inspiration, like.
Yeah. Well,
and that's just kind of like.
Yeah, but to be fair though, I'd never leave the house if I was looking at everything that influenced the book.
No, I know, but I mean, I think we were talking about like writing fight scenes or something.
Oh yeah, I do.
And using bow and arrows, and I was like, well, there's Arrow.
Yeah, that's part of
or-
it too. I'm researching.
Yeah.
Using air. Okay. No,
Well, I
that
mean,
makes sense. That makes sense.
What?
I
Kevin
totally get
Kevin Costner Robin Hood?
Yeah, I get that.
Russell Crowe
Arrows.
Robin Hood? 50 Shades of Grey Robin Hood Origins?
What?
Yeah, they're making a Robin Hood Origins with the dude
50 Shades of Grey?
from 50 Shades of Grey.
Okay.
Do you not read Popped on Facebook?
You should.
You really should, but obviously neither one of you have.
Clearly, I get the alerts, I look.
Facebook.com/poppedrfr.
Yes, what she said.
Okay, well, in the spirit of the Emmys, I think this is an interesting conversation. Well, let's get through the rest of the news. I don't get it.
Don't sound so excited.
We can talk about it after one.
So C. Martin Kroger is unfortunately no
Dead.
longer with us.
Dead. You know what
He's
else is
dead.
dead?
Mm.
Brangelina. Dead. D-E-D. Dead.
There's no hope for love
Such
anymore.
a better delivery in the thing. Do the delivery you were gonna do.
What? You know what else is dead? Brangelina. What was the delivery I was going
I
to
don't
do?
know. You had a way better delivery in the pre-show.
I don't know what
No,
you're talking
it
I don't
was
know what you're talking about. I just
it
came
was
up with that
like
joke.
it was like C. Martin Croker died, like Brangelina's love. Bam! Like that was that.
Yeah, like
Okay, fine. Take two.
Wait,
Let's
no,
go back.
Here's a little behind the scenes. When I announced he was dead, I actually I paused for a minute because I was like, okay, here comes this big joke.
Here
and it never
comes
came.
the funny.
And then I was like, oh, okay, well, just go. Okay, let's do it again. Let's do it
Okay,
again.
all right, take two.
C. Martin Kroger is dead.
You know what else is dead? The love between Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. Is that bad? Was it any better than what I said
I
a few
feel like-
minutes ago?
This is our fault, though. I think we killed
Yeah,
it.
no, we did. We set
We
it
didn't
out.
kill it.
Yeah, okay.
We didn't kill it.
Yeah, Brangelina's done. No more Brad.
Okay,
So
Matt,
weird.
I have a dude question for you.
Who gets all the kids?
Well, but this is my
They
question.
just go back to the original
Is
family.
no, she wants custody. So that brings up my question. Because as two dudes who are not crazy about having kids, which is a whole other discussion, but is dealing with 6 kids worth being with Angelina Jolie?
No.
Okay. I thought that'd be a tougher question.
Nope. Not worth it. Like Angelina now, or like time shifted Angelina.
No to Angelina now.
Like Angelina circa 1997.
I mean now, obviously, because now.
Yeah, no, not worth that. It might be. Is it worth the crazy to be with her of the 1997?
Your
Was
call.
that during the Billy
Billy
Bob
Bob
Thornton,
Thornton,
Blood
Vial
Vial.
of Blood?
Good
Yeah.
times. That might have been right before it.
Okay.
Hackers was 95. Let's go 95. Hackers, Angelina Jolie.
Girl Interrupted was probably one of the earliest things I've seen with her.
Okay, then Girl Interrupted, 1999, Angelina Jolie.
Sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. Billy Bob Thornton, she's gonna wear your blood.
Yeah, but the crazy ones are usually the more fun ones.
Yeah, but she's going to cut
Never-
you. Like during sex, she will cut you.
Eh.
She has knives, and you know that she brings knives to bed.
Okay, but you gotta look at what's the aim here, because he's right. Crazy is more fun, but you don't settle down with crazy.
I never said you had to settle down with her.
And also, you don't want too crazy. Like knife crazy
And
is too
they
crazy.
Everyone's got
also
their own thing.
They also say don't put your dick in crazy.
That's true.
They do
also
say
say
that.
don't shit where you eat too, but that doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah, and also don't shit where you have sex.
Unless they're into that.
They're into that.
Just stop. Next. Next.
Shield premieres tonight. For those of you still
Does
keeping
it?
up with it.
Oh, and so does that This Is Us show. That's so
Ah,
and a good place,
no.
a good place or whatever started
yeah,
That's
yesterday.
This Is
Yeah.
Us
Yesterday.
show.
But a good place looks like
I don't know what this Is Us is.
Oh
I
yeah,
legitimately
you weren't
don't.
here. So that's the.
I know Good Place. That's the one with Becker.
Yeah.
And he's trying to be all happy
Yeah,
and shit.
Good Place and Kristen Bell. No, the So This Is Us is the new big drama, big tearjerker drama, because it was Parenthood, right? So it's the primetime drama, like touching people show. Well, not touching. Well, that didn't turn out right. Touching, people show. So it's like different people exploring different parts of their lives, touching other
touching people show.
touching other people.
It's all that cutting and sex, crazy
like,
sex.
It's got to do with it's the poop sex. That's
I
what
wasn't
the
gonna go that
show's
far,
about.
but yeah.
Like tentacle finger sex.
sex.
Tentacle holes.
That's called Shiza video. Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's your fact for the day. But no, so that premieres. I'll probably. I'll give it a go.
I'm still trying to get you to finish season 5 of Doctor Who.
My God, we're so far behind.
What's this
And you've
week?
got to now give up season 5 of Doctor Who and go straight to The Sopranos.
Don't forget Buffy. We got Buffy in there too.
That's what I'm watching right now. I am currently on the beginning of season 3.
Okay.
I watched 2 seasons over the week.
See, when I first started watching it a few years back because of my love for Firefly, I got 2 episodes in and I was like, I know it's slow, but there's other stuff I want to watch right now. So I just kind of tossed it to the side.
Never toss Buffy to the side. Buffy's probably
I
my
mean, it's
favorite
always
show.
going to
Don't
be
put
there. Let's
Buffy
be
in
honest.
a corner.
It's it'll always be
Yeah,
there
it's
for you.
always gonna be
Although
there.
I got to tell you, it's amazingly it's kind of dated. It'll really make you think,
What
wow, I
is
miss
this?
the late 90s.
Look, touching people.
This is the trailer for This Is Us.
So softcore porn with
No, it's like about
An
phases
ass.
of life. No, she's
My favorite
pregnant,
is
she's-
there's an overweight woman who won't date an overweight guy because she's not attracted to overweight guys.
that's a whole other topic for a whole other show.
No, it's not. It'll never be on the show.
It makes me angry.
I don't blame you.
I'm like,
Sexy
wow.
people, boobs, they have in common.
Yeah, they have like emotions and things.
Nothing has ever made me madder than watching this.
Nothing has
Oh, hey,
ever
look,
made you
it's,
matter.
it's
Nothing.
Peter Petrelli.
Oh, is Peter Petrelli in it? Really?
Yeah, that was him with the
That's
weird
him right
goatee
there in a
thing.
fat suit.
No, yeah. No, it was him with that weird goatee a few seconds back.
It was a weird
Before that-
goatee.
Yeah, it was a weird goatee.
What did it look like?
Um,
You identify
not,
the goatee.
yeah, I can identify the goatee. It's
weird.
like Ugly the Dude.
How you feeling? You
Ugly
watch
Wait,
enough?
is that
Pudges.
Mandy Moore?
You watch enough of this.
They're
you
right
want
there.
kids.
Oh, he has a beard. Okay, it's a beard. It was a weird angle.
That
is
is Peter Petrelli.
With a beard.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
it's Peter Petrelli,
Yeah, you wanna
which
watch
is
this?
not enough interest for me to watch the show.
This
I'm
Is
gonna
Us.
watch it. I'm
See?
gonna watch it.
Watch. She's gonna get addicted to this thing.
Well, they took Nashville. They put it
Yeah,
on
this could
CMT,
probably be
but-
your Nashville
Kind
show.
of.
It's we don't have cable, so
Oh, that is Peter Petrelli.
yeah. I
Oh,
told you
she's
it was Peter Petrelli.
Throwing
It's
all of her junk food out. It's somebody who's dealing with this.
Yeah, it's people with emotions, and emotions just complicate things, and people are stupid. So I have no interest in this show. She can watch it all she wants.
Looks fantastic.
I'm sure it will be.
News. Jared Leto will be playing Andy Warhol in a biopic. The Campbell Soup can is yet to be cast.
Who would you want to see as this Campbell soup can?
Mandy Moore.
I was gonna say Bill Hader.
It's because I literally just said Mandy Moore. Who
Yeah.
would I cast as
But
a soup can?
I feel like she has the personality of soup.
Aw.
What kind of soup?
Campbell Soup.
Yeah, but like tomato,
Oh, please, alphabet.
alphabet.
Yeah,
soup?
which is
Chicken
that's
noodle,
fun.
you fucking
That's a-
communist. Chicken noodle.
Chicken noodle is not better than alphabet soup.
So
I'm
what
glad
is?
you're on that side of the table. I don't want to be anywhere near you.
I put chicken and stars ahead of a chicken and noodle.
Oh, you shut your damn mouth.
Okay, it's all the same soup. I don't know how to tell you this. The
Chef,
only-
you know what? I'm throwing this down there. Chef
Whatever.
Boyardee. Chef
She
Boyardee.
said tomato. We can't trust anything.
no,
she
I
says.
was asking tomato. That is not my choice.
No,
I'm gonna throw
never
this out there.
tomato.
Chef Boyardee alphabet soup is better than Campbell's.
Oh, we got one.
No.
Yeah, that's what I have to say
All
about
right,
that.
all right,
Yeah.
Juan. Settle this soup debate. Which is better, chicken?
No, not even
noodle?
not even an either or. Which is the best Campbell's soup? Juan.
Classic cream of mushroom.
God damn.
That's not even soup. That's gravy.
Who just eats that?
One.
No,
wanted
no,
him
we
with
didn't.
a bowl
We
of
didn't ask
cream
him. No, we asked him. We asked him a question. He gave us his
That's
answer.
true.
And he gave us his answer.
Cream of mushroom isn't
Don't
even.
judge the man, Miss Tomato Soup.
You two almost had it out over chicken and stars. Tomato soup is the best.
Alphabet and chicken and noodle. So slow your roll there.
Nah, chicken noodle is good. Alphabet is the best.
Clearly, we talk about the big important pop culture
beef
news.
barley?
Alphabet soup I can get from Chef Boyardee.
Beef barley.
Minestrone
Eh.
is good.
Nah.
Italian wedding soup I like.
I'll go chunky. Chunky
No,
vegetable.
chunky doesn't count. Chunky is its own
Chunky
category.
doesn't even need water. Chunky laughs at your water.
Chunky's a man soup.
Just put it in a dog
It
bowl
is.
and
They have
feed it.
football players in the
I don't
commercials.
even heat my chunky.
Only football
That sounds
players eat
inappropriate.
soup.
Yeah, see, Juan knows. Only the football players.
Chunky soup is like nothing but sodium and cholesterol and like
Yeah.
sadness.
Sometimes I'll just
That explains a lot of my 2013.
Yeah.
I'll just pop open a can of chunky and put a spoon in. I mean, time to go.
Chunky soup is like the single man equivalent of like a lean cuisine.
Yeah, that's, I'm not even argue that.
That's like exactly what it is.
I
no,
will
a
agree.
hungry man XXL is the equivalent of a link.
Oh my God, this is the most depressing
It's good for
conversation.
cold days. When it's really cold and
See?
rainy. and you
Juan
just need
knows
some
what's
chunks to
up.
warm you up.
We can't trust Juan. He just said cream of mushroom.
All right, Miss Tomato,
Whatever,
you can
he
stay
made
over
a
there,
choice.
Veggie Tales.
Because tomato is like the essence of soup. Tomato soup.
Why don't you just
Yeah,
have
cool.
pineapple soup while you're throwing fruit in a soup there?
To me, different
I like
flavor
a nice
profile.
apple soup.
Let's have a citrus Campbell soup.
You're
Yeah,
dead.
I'll switch my soup up. I'll do chicken and wild rice. How about that?
Oh,
okay.
Juan's fancy.
He's still got half of mine though. Chicken's way better.
Oh my God. All right, Juan, save us with some comics because we will come to fisticuffs if we continue talking soup.
Soup battles. Well, it's a pretty exciting week in comics. Civil War II #5, after 2 months of being MIA, is finally coming out.
About time.
So far.
Well, we haven't seen it. Is it in the store yet? Can you confirm that it's in the store, ready to go?
I can't confirm it today. I guess the real will be revealed to me tomorrow when I walk in, and it's there or not.
Hopefully.
The fingers crossed, then people can stop back and like, hey, we're Civil War II #5. I'm like, I don't know. I don't work tomorrow.
I'd say keep teasing it.
But Cyborg #1 comes out tomorrow too, which is very exciting if you're a fan of half human, half robot people.
Who isn't?
Everyone is.
Who isn't really? You know, the Borg are pretty cool. I don't remember any more Cyborg people, but you know.
Mega Man, does he
Trinity-
count? Or is he all
Mega,
robot?
oh yes, Mega Man.
Are the Power
Bionic
Rangers
Commando?
cyborgs?
No.
But they come together to form like a big
Those
creature.
no.
Yeah, but they're in
they're in them.
That's like you combine your
Cy-
cars with our cars.
So it's like it's
Robot.
more of a they're more of a
Yeah.
transformer than a cyborg situation.
They're more of people with transforming robots.
Yeah. They got robot cars.
Yeah.
Okay. Glad we cleared that up. Thanks, guys.
But Trinity #1 also comes out tomorrow, which will, if you like Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman all being best friends and going on adventures together, this is definitely the book for you.
So it's Super Friends #1.
Yeah, yeah, the
Excellent.
super trio.
All right.
Let's see, Street Fighter. Actually, I don't know if you remember back in the '90s when we used to have those X-Men swimsuit specials that were very
the Marvel swimsuit.
appealing to me as a 10-year-old who didn't know any better.
I always remember the one with Rogue at the waterfall.
Yeah,
I
or
don't want
Psylocke.
to know why that's the one you remember.
I'm probably
But
misremembering it.
there's going to be a Street Fighter swimsuit special that comes out tomorrow, which is very exciting if you like cartoon characters in swimsuit clothes.
And I do.
And
Exclusively.
who doesn't, really? But one book I'm super excited for is Seven to Eternity, which will see Rick Remender and Jerome Opeña reunite, and they last collaborated on the super good Uncanny X-Force runs they had together.
Oh, yeah. I made
So
Keith
this is
go
their-
and read that.
Yeah, I went out. I actually purchased it and read it, and it was enjoyable.
It was good, great art.
It really was.
But they're reuniting to do this new image book, which sees some like fantasy and sci-fi smashing together, worlds collide. It looks really, really great. I'm really excited for it.
And what's it called?
So everyone should. 7 to Eternity.
7 to Eternity. Okay.
Yep. And then I think the biggest release, I guess it depends on who you are, but IDW is having their own little event of their own called a Revolution, which will see all their books that have to do with that are owned by Hasbro, so like G.I. Joe, Transformers, new ROM book coming out tomorrow as well. But this event is going to unite all these properties into one shared universe, because that's what everything needs now, is a shared universe.
Now, the movie's supposed to do the same thing, too?
Transformers is supposed to, they're hinting at having ROM the Space Knight or something in this. I'm not familiar with ROM, so I can't speak to it, but
Yeah, it was,
it's Transformers
that was
5,
even before my time, really.
the Space Knight, and there's talks of ROM being in Transformers 5.
This is news to me. I'm not too familiar with ROM either.
Yeah, I might have to do some research. When did the ROM book start? Are we on like
late 70s?
Well, the ROM book has already started. I think it's 2 issues deep, but tomorrow we'll see there's like this separate ROM book that's called like the subheader of Revolution. So I'm assuming it's tied to the main event.
Okay, gotcha.
And I know the G.I. Joe and Transformers have crossed paths in the past before, but I guess they weren't really there or something.
Well,
'cause
yeah.
Now they are. This is
IDW has done not necessarily a shared universe before, but they've done like crossover events within their comics before. They had a what was it called? It was something with like some weird alien invaded like all the different properties they had: Turtles, Ghostbusters, Transformers, GI Joes, and it's Infestation. And they did like two.
Yes.
They did like I think they did 2 runs of it, 2 different volumes, and it ran through Turtles, Ghostbusters. I mean, I read those too, but then they also ran through Star Trek, Transformers, GI Joe, and like they didn't all meet up, but they all had the same stuff kind of happening within them. They did the same thing with X-Files too.
Was the truth out there?
These 3 guys are trying to find it.
Did
That's
they?
all. I don't know. I didn't read the rest of them. I just read the Turtles and then the Ghostbusters.
I feel like
crossover.
they're optimistic that it is out there.
They really
Oh,
are.
I would hope so.
But then I know Action Man is involved. The Micronauts have a new book out too. Soon there's going to be a Mask book. I never watched that cartoon, but I heard
Mask
it was
is
a
good.
thing once
Wait,
before.
like Jim Carrey mask, or is that the?
No.
the
Mask.
No, the
Mobile
Mask is like the
armored
acronym.
Yeah, the car thingies.
Yeah,
Tank
the car
thing.
thingies.
Strike Command?
That'd be a better name for the book.
Mobile Armor Strike Command?
That's pretty much what it is. Let's be honest.
I love Mask. They're the best toys ever.
Let's see. There's also some good collections out this week too. Moon Cop by Tom Gold comes out, which looks pretty interesting. And then the one my girlfriend is most excited for, Jim Henson's Labyrinth Tales, comes out tomorrow, which is just like a collection. So like the past couple of years, every free comic book day, like Archaea/Boom, they put out a little sampler of all their stuff. And there's always been a little Labyrinth short story in each one for like the past couple of years, and I think this book is just collecting all those little short stories into one. Because before you can only get it via free comic book day.
Right, Archaea's done really well with the Henson properties, I think.
They have.
They did the
Amazing.
Dark Crystal stuff that I really enjoyed. So I'm curious.
Jim Henson's Storyteller is great.
Yep, and then I'm looking forward to the Labyrinth stuff. But again, as has been evident on this show, I'm a sucker for anything Henson. So, there's that.
Dark Crystal Labyrinth has changed my little child brain into what it is today.
As they should. Those are great movies.
I'm still frightened of them. They make me. Dark Crystal's always made me uneasy. Not as uneasy as the Secret of Nim.
Well, that one's
up.
really dark. Yeah.
I mean, the Labyrinth introduced me to my first childhood bulge, and there's nothing that can really take that away.
It's true. And then Requiem from a Dream just continued that bulge. No, Rocketeer. That's what I said. Rocketeer.
Requiem for a Dream introduced people to a lot of things.
It's the double dong, isn't it?
I
was wondering how many people were going to get that
Requiem for a Dream as after the Labyrinth, Jennifer Connelly, no one believed her. So she just like goes down into like the heroin rabbit hole and has to do that famous scene in Requiem for a Dream to get money because her life is a wreck after the labyrinth.
That's pretty much how it happened.
Might be the best
Yep.
rabbit hole.
That's continuity right there.
Tying
Look
it
it
all
up.
together. Shared universe.
I can't get it out of my head now.
Can't wait
we
for
go
that.
back to
Requiem for
soup?
a Dream Labyrinth.
I
crossover is
got to
gonna be
do some
great
Google
next year.
searches. I'm sorry.
Nope.
You guys take the wheel.
All right, Juan. Where can they find all these great comics, including the Requiem for a Dream Labyrinth crossover?
Oh my God.
You can find the Requiem for a Dream Labyrinth crossover and other great books at Local Heroes, located in the heart of Ghent in Norfolk, 1905 Colonial Avenue. I do that backwards. I'm dyslexic today.
It's all right.
Right next to Kogan's Pizza, makers of the greatest pizza on the planet.
It really is great pizza. And it's really great comics at Local Heroes, so.
Someday I'll have that spicy pizza.
Just don't come in there at Local Heroes with the pizza.
Why? Because
Eat
then
it
you want
first
to eat it?
and then come there.
You don't want to get smudges on the books.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can go
Pizza
with
sauce
that.
everywhere.
Someday I'm going to teach you how to handle a comic book.
Thanks, Juan. We're really glad to have you. Think about that soup, man. That's a big question.
Soup man.
All right, I'm gonna go Google kinds of soup, and I'll
Yeah.
get back to you on
Yeah.
that.
He's not. He's going to go Google Requiem for a Dream
no,
Labyrinth
he's gonna
crossover.
Google soup. I need to believe that.
Someone's made that trailer.
Soup.
All right, thanks, Juan. I'll see you tomorrow, man.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Okay, so with the Emmys this week.
Yeah.
Or last Sunday. Did anybody watch? Anybody have any idea what happened?
No,
Some
I
people
didn't
got
even
awards.
know it happened until it was
I
over.
didn't either.
I didn't even bother to Google dresses. Usually I Google the fashion.
I
and
just-
I didn't care.
Yeah. It's so over award show. Well,
Yeah,
in the
it's-
spirit of the Emmys, though, I think we should play a pop game.
Okay.
You guys up for a pop game? Got to name your top 5 shows. We'll start with Sarah
Of all time?
of all time in any order. Your top 5. But here's the trick: you can't name a show that one of the other people names. So you got a top 5 draft pick shows.
Live action? Can't pick cartoons?
You can pick cartoons. Everything's on the table. Dramas.
I'm screwed because she's going to go
Top
first.
5 all time. Sarah gets to go first. You can't pick a show that somebody else picks,
I go first.
and you get to go first.
Arrested Development.
Well, there goes one of mine. Oh, we're doing round
That's a
robin
strong-
thing?
Yeah.
Firefly.
Ooh. I'm going Sopranos.
The Simpsons.
Ooh.
I'm going to follow suit with the cartoons, Animaniacs.
Yeah, you're not gonna get me with that. I'm gonna go Breaking Bad.
Okay.
I feel like we should be
Um,
keeping track of this.
Yeah,
Star
yeah,
Trek Next
hold on, hold
Generation.
on. Okay, hold that real quick. Let's
Me-
write this all down so we can write up a cool article on our zine.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping to do, and I realized that
RadioFreeRadio.com/zine.
RadioFradio.com.
Radio F Radio. There you go.
Notepad.
All right.
Sometimes you.
So she said Arrested Development.
So
Firefly.
Sarah is 8D. Firefly is you.
Yep.
People love typing on.
Yeah, no, we love listening to you type. That's super exciting.
And then you said The
is where you guys feel.
Sopranos.
I said The Sopranos.
And then we went for a cartoon round, or at least the two of us did. And she said Simpsons. I said Animaniacs. And then you said Breaking Bad, which was a great cartoon. I really enjoyed it.
It's one of my favorite cartoons.
Did you ever see Breaking Bad? Okay, see, I've seen Breaking Bad. That was,
I never saw Breaking Bad.
it took it wasn't. And see, this is probably gonna piss some people off. Like
Like me.
it might. I mean, it was a great show. I enjoyed it. I can see why people really liked it. It got slow at times, though. But
No,
I mean,
no,
it
that's
was
true.
it was
Purpose.
progressing. Yeah, but it was progressing the story. But it was still a slow progression. if
Like
that makes
there
any
was an
sense.
episode that people either really love or they really hate called Fly, about a fly getting into the cook room, and Walter White spends the entire episode trying to kill this fly.
I think it's great that he's gonna be Zordon.
It's
I-
crazy.
well, he
I
voiced
would-
some of the monsters
He
too,
said he
back in the
wanted to- He
'90s.
said he wanted to be somebody else.
Sinister.
Yeah. Why wouldn't they just make that happen?
I don't know.
Dumb. That's why. Sarah, back to you. Number 3.
Well,
You said TNG.
I did
but
say TNG, but
Oh, is that
now
what you said?
I've
You
had
wanna pick?
time to think about it.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna have to go with Friends.
And you don't have to say anything fast. You can
Yeah,
talk it out. We got a
Friends.
little bit of time.
My shows aren't going to be a surprise to anybody.
So Turtles is now.
No,
Or are you gonna wait?
no, Turtles is. I'm not going to throw Turtles in there because we're talking great shows. So I'm going to throw out the Muppet Show.
Oh.
That's one of mine.
All right,
Yeah.
so we're even.
It's
Now
time
I
to
gotta
play the
think of
music.
another one.
Now I'm.
Adventures of
everybody
Briscoe County Jr. No, I'm just kidding.
playing? It's a great show.
It is a great show, but of all time.
I gotta go with. I guess say Buffy.
Okay.
Crap, you guys. Can I? Does it have to be? Do I have to consider the entire series?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, 'cause it's got to be a.
but you can talk your way through it.
Okay.
But I think it has to be an entire series.
Okay, I'm gonna say. Well, if I had time to really hash
This is just
out,
your list. It doesn't
yeah,
have to
I know.
be-
If I had time to
But you
hash
can
this
try to
out,
screw Keith over if you want, and me.
Doctor Who.
Who?
Really?
No, I'm just doing that to fuck you.
Oh, no.
Fuck with you.
No, I wasn't even going to throw that on there. I mean, it's a great long running show, but best of all time, solid writing, like consistently
Yeah,
solid
see,
writing.
I'm torn though because I want to say South Park, but to me that falls in the same category as The Simpsons, as far as like animation.
I think it's interesting. I think this list already is interesting for a couple of things.
Yeah.
Keith, with the exception of Firefly, has picked all shows geared and written towards kids. I mean, obviously the Muppet Show and the Animaniacs are like top tier if you're going to say kids show.
Right.
And, they're infinitely entertaining for adults too. You have picked all sitcoms.
Well, see, my next one's not going to be a sitcom though, because like I'm kind of on the fence because
I'm all over the place.
I want to put like Big Love because that was a really, really good show.
Yeah, but that last season.
But that last season was like a fiery
See,
train wreck.
I want to say Parks and Rec, but the first season is rough.
But I feel like a first season.
Well, yeah, but it's like
is
30
fine.
Rock. 30
Like-
Rock. That's my pick. 30 Rock.
30 Rock.
That was
Another-
one of my other
another
ones that I
sitcom.
was thinking
Yeah,
about.
30 Rock is my pick.
You know what though? That's interesting because I think that a show can still be fantastic if it has
A couple-
it falters
Well,
in early seasons. But I feel like it hurts. It really hurts if they don't stick the landing.
Well, so South Park has had a few dicey seasons up and down, and The Simpsons have too, have been in a slump lately.
But I feel like The Simpsons and South Park though are so strong
Yeah, they.
in their earlier seasons that it makes up.
Well, they're an
and
establishment.
groundbreaking.
They're an establishment at this point, both of them.
Yeah.
For better or for worse. All right, what you got, Keith?
Okay, I've got three more because we still got what, two more?
You've got two more. Sarah has one more. We
All
can
right,
go to
see.
6 if you want. You want to do bonus 6?
Well, hang on,
It's a fun game.
I just
keep going.
had we can
Go as
do
many as you want.
honorable mentions. Yeah,
We'll
because
save
I was
the honorable
I was gonna say
mentions. Let's do the
I
top
really
five first.
I'm torn because I've got three more I want to do, and I'm writing them down on my phone real quick before I forget.
There's one I can't believe isn't in my top 5.
What's that?
That was such a. It'll probably be in my honorable.
Okay, I'll be in your honorable. Shit. And see, I've already forgotten one of the ones I was getting ready to say. Son of a bitch. Parks and Rec. Yeah, let's just go Parks and Rec, I guess.
I think that's a strong. Although
I mean, that's what it was. I
I
remember
feel like
now.
their last.
I mean,
season
'cause
was a train wreck.
Well, they did that whole jump in the future thing, and they were just kind of poking fun of themselves. It was the first season.
It
Really,
seemed
the
like
first.
it was for themselves.
Yeah, the first
and we
season.
weren't really on the joke.
But I'm okay
fully.
with that because because
You're right. I mean, I laughed so hard
aside-
at some of those episodes that I can't. And it's good. It's rare to see good. Now, okay. Here's a question: Parks and Rec or The Office?
never saw The Office.
See, I would go with The Office.
Yeah, I would
I've
too.
seen them both, and I love Parks and Rec.
And Parks and Rec was supposed to be.
I couldn't
It
get
was
into The
supposed to be a
Office.
spin-off.
I watched the first few episodes. Well, see, here's my logic on Parks and Rec. I watched the first few episodes of The Office.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't get into it.
It's weird, but it's just the British version.
yeah,
but I
the first
watched.
the first season of the
But I never saw
American
the British
Office,
version either.
Oh, now
Well,
the British version is in my opinion, a work of art
Yeah, obviously.
because of Ricky Gervais.
Right. Now,
He elevates the shit out of that.
Yeah,
so.
Ricky Gervais made the British Office, and that was only supposed to run for a season or two.
Yeah.
And then the American
It only
version.
ran 2 seasons and a holiday special, I think.
Yeah, and then so the American version took off, and they had their slumps too. I mean, they lost Steve Carell, and that was a big hit.
Yeah.
But
See, I think that's part of it. I'm not a I enjoy Steve Carell, but not as a leading man.
Oh,
The only thing
can
I've
see
liked, the only thing
We
I've liked
had-
him in is as a leading man was Dan in real life.
Crazy. Dan in real life,
See
really.
that?
Yeah.
That's an
He was
odd
really
one.
good in Crazy Stupid Love.
Oh, he
I
was
loved
good in that one. I haven't seen that one as
Haven't
much.
we had this
What
discussion?
about
We have.
what
We have a
about
lot.
Waiting for a Friend at the end of the?
Oh
Haven't
my
seen it yet.
God.
She's seen it.
I thought
I
he was
watched.
really good in
I
that.
watched. He was really good in that. I
What
watched
about
that
Little Miss
movie.
Sunshine? You know what?
He
He's
wasn't.
good.
He wasn't a main character in that.
wasn't
He was a
really. He
supporting
wasn't.
character in that.
You're right.
Okay.
If anything, I liked Alan Arkin in that movie way better than any of them.
Well, he won an Academy Award for it. So.
Yeah, well, that too. So, but yeah, Parks and Rec. But see, this is the thing. Yes, it was the last season was a joke that was kind of written for them, and I'm okay with that because it showed that the cast, and this is for me, this is what makes a great show. Really great writing, a good concept, of course, but that the cast actually genuinely looks like they're having fun with it. And I think that Parks and Rec was one of those shows where they genuinely looked like they were having fun with it.
Yeah.
I want to
agree.
say How I Met Your Mother. That was one of the ones I was thinking of, but it falters in a few seasons later on.
Yeah,
it
How
went
I
on
Met
for about
Your
a season.
Mother went off the rails.
It went on for about a season too long, in my opinion.
Yeah, I
and
think
then the last.
I think Parks and Rec is solid. I think it's a solid choice.
Yeah.
Well, then that's my choice. None of you. Well, you might guess my last one, but it's gonna be a sleep. It's
I
gonna
don't
be a
think anybody's
sleeper
gonna guess
answer.
this because it's spaced. One of the most genius shows. that's ever
Yeah,
been
Simon
made.
Pegg, Nick Frost. I've seen a few episodes of that. Pretty great.
Love
What
it.
show?
Spaced.
Oh, no, I'm
Simon
sorry.
British
Pegg's
show.
early stuff.
It's Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Fantastic show. It's
Yeah.
so good, and it really set the stage for what they did later on. With everybody knows my love for anything that Edgar Wright does. Shaun of the Dead is just a genius movie, and every single one of his films get better every time you watch it, including Scott Pilgrim, which I
really
heart
enjoy
very
it.
much. So
I enjoy Scott Pilgrim.
I've watched it so many times. Okay, fifth. Looks like this is gonna have to be last round.
Okay, I have a very big and very strange call to make, so I need help.
Okay.
It's between I Love Lucy
Oh.
and Sesame Street.
Ooh. Very different. Still,
Very different and
I would say
very,
two shows that would that
very
influenced
influential in my younger days.
Very influential, but would you say the writing for Sesame Street has stayed strong throughout its 40-year history?
Me too. That's a hard show to do.
Now, the thing about Sesame Street and the thing about I Love Lucy is that the value takeaway is different.
Yeah.
I'll agree.
And it's hard to imagine my life without either one.
Okay.
I feel like Sesame Street has had a bigger impact on culture in the United States and world, probably. But I Love Lucy.
Think of what's. I feel like Lucy's big contribution is what she did for women.
Yes.
Alexis says she says I Love Lucy over Sesame Street. That's Alexis's.
Alexis votes I Love Lucy over
Well,
Sesame
you got to think about what Desilu went off and did. I mean, number one, I Love Lucy and more Desi Arnaz created the 3-camera sitcom.
Yeah, and
so
they're
all sitcoms basically derive from.
well,
I
they're
Love Lucy.
responsible for the original Star Trek.
Star Trek.
And the way, but think of what Henson Studios are responsible for. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah,
you know?
but that was more of a creation of the CTW. That's a really interesting. Did you ever read?
Yes and no. I mean, he had the idea.
He did.
They wanted to bring him on board because of what he was doing
Exactly,
and
but-
his innovative processes as far as television and that whole medium went. They had.
But he wasn't the impetus of the show. The show was
no,
basically
but would it have
created
been?
to.
But would it have been as good if his?
It wouldn't have. No, it absolutely wouldn't have. But
I mean, I think that's.
there's a weird symbiotic. You can't say that Sesame Street is pure Henson, because it was just as much a vehicle of God, what's her name, who took it before Congress and got all the funding and got it all.
Yeah.
It's actually a really interesting story. There's a good book called Street Gang. It's written a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah,
Probably
it's a
5 years.
gray cover
I
with
think
Big
I've got
Bird's
it.
feet. I think I've got it too. Actually, I just haven't gotten around to reading it.
It's interesting.
well, that's my.
What's
if
the
I,
pick?
So which one are you going?
I have to pick one or the other.
Mm-hmm. The other one could be your honorable mention.
All right, I'm
We
going.
don't have time for honorable mentions.
She says it real quick.
I'm picking I Love Lucy with Sesame Street as an honorable mention. And the reason I pick I Love Lucy is because I have cherished memories of uproariously laughing.
That show's good.
It's hilarious.
I don't trust a person that says that that's a bad show.
I Love Lucy is amazing.
They're a-holes. If you don't like I Love Lucy,
Yeah, but to be
you're
fair
an
though, you
a-hole.
think a lot of people are a-holes without even.
That is true.
A lot of people are a-holes.
Also
A lot of people are
valid.
a-hole.
Also valid.
All right, what's your last one, Keith?
Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip.
I knew that's what you were going to say.
Love that show.
That
I
was
do.
on my list, too.
I'm telling you, it's a good show.
It's one of Sorkin's best, also his shortest.
12
but
episodes.
I mean and this is part of my reason, it's one of the few shows that can actually elicit feels.
Yeah.
And for you, those of you who know me, that's a tough damn thing to do.
When that show ended and I knew there was no more, I was sad. I was
Yeah.
sad in the same way I was sad when Arrested Development ended. When
Debuted
The Office,
the same year as 30 Rock. They were competing.
Yeah,
for
they
Yeah.
were, and that was the problem.
Very
And
different.
30 Rock was cheaper to produce,
Yep.
and people love comedies. So honorable mentions: Monty Python, Sherlock,
I thought it was a funny
and
show.
Phineas and Ferb.
oh, Phineas
That's
and Ferb
your
is a good one.
Those are my 3 honorable mentions.
A lot of honorable.
And,
mentions.
I know. I wanted to throw them in real quick
What's your last one?
because we didn't. I could have done the top
Wire.
10.
The Wire. Okay.
The Wire.
It's interesting you said that because while we were discussing this, I pulled up a quick top 50 shows of all time list, and done by Empire Online. So they've got their stuff pretty well. They know their shit essentially. The Wire's number 1. Breaking Bad's number 2. West Wing's number 3 though.
Oh, West Wing. Yeah,
That's what I was
going
to ask you if you ever watched West Wing.
I never watched
If
it.
you've
I'd
seen
catch
Studio
episodes
60.
here and there, but I never watched it
I haven't-
sequentially.
That's eventually
Simpson-
that's going to be something for me.
Simpsons is number 4. Friends is number 5.
Looks like we covered everything except for the West Wing.
Yeah. Battlestar Galactica 6.
I'm
BSG
surprised
is
you
probably-
didn't say
BSG
Battlestar
is,
Galactica.
BSG is probably my honorable mention.
Yeah.
I love
Game
I
of
love some
Thrones
BSG.
7. Oz 8. Blackadder 9.
Yeah, Blackadder's funny.
The Killing
I never watched The Killing.
is number 10.
Interesting, good list.
Yeah.
All right.
I think we got a good solid list here.
I do too.
So Sarah's list: Arrested Development, Simpsons, Friends, 30 Rock, and I Love Lucy, with an honorable mention of Sesame Street. Keith's Firefly, Animaniacs, The Muppet Show, Parks and Rec, and Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip, with an honorable mention of I forgot
Everybody. Sherlock, Monty Python, and
just
I
everything
had
that's ever been on
and
television.
Phineas and Ferb.
Too many things.
Yeah.
And then mine: Sopranos, Breaking Bad, Buffy, Space, The Wire, and my honorable mention is Battlestar Galactica. God, that was such a good show. We're right up on it, top of the hour, so we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be back with James talking video games on Video Game Syndicate.
Joystick Syndicate. What's the matter with you?
The name
It's
of-
also Tuesday.
blanked.
You're on pop.
I blanked.
You're at the studio, Matt.
Oh
I
my
blanked,
God.
and I had to make a
We
decision.
gotta go to a break. This is sinking fast, man. But that's cool. we can stay on air. I can keep talking.
Vamp.
Oh, you know
This
how
is
I
me
like to
vamping,
vamp.
vamping, damp.
Oh, there we
hey,
go.
music.
All right.
What is reality? Reality is what we believe to be true about the nature of our surroundings. But how do we come to decide that true nature? Do we conceive it completely on our own? Or do other devices gently sway our thoughts onto a pre-decided path? This is the hard question we must all ask ourselves as free humans on this planet. Who sculpts your reality?
Reality. Wednesday nights, 9/11 on RadioFreeRadio.com.
Radio Free Radio. Radio Free Radio. Radio Free Radio.
Hey y'all, this is Ronnie Dale Martin Jr. and I gotta tell you, man, this Radio Free Radio thing is quite awesome. And since I spent all my money on steering wheel covers and Marlboros, I need you guys to donate $1 over at Patreon. That site is patreon.com/Radio Free Radio. If you ain't heard about it, you need to get on over there and give your $1. On RadioFRadio.com.
What's up, Internet? This is George of the Chocolate Milk and Waffle Show.
And I'm Terrell K. Mercer, also of the Chocolate Milk and Waffle Show.
And we would like to invite you to tune in every Thursday from 8 to 9 on RadioFRadio.com.
For hour 2 of Pops, we're back in studio. We all leave studio during the break. We all leave to go take a smoke break.
Isn't that what we're supposed to do?
We all smoke. A lot of people don't know this, but we're all chain smokers here.
Explains why it smells like crap in here.
So we don't want to take breaks.
It's actually mandated by the
but
studio
it's
heads.
mandated by the studio heads, and then we have to go out back, smoke cigarettes. It's weird because Keith smokes Virginia Slims.
Yeah, just they feel so good going down.
I smoke Camel Fats, and I don't know what James smokes. James, what do you smoke?
I wasn't prepared for that question.
It's okay. Neither was I.
The finest Cubans.
Here's James.
Oh.
It's time for Joystick Syndicate, not Video Game Syndicate, as I called it earlier.
Sure,
And
whatever.
Forgot my own branding that I came up with.
Sorry, I've been out for a little while. Illness, travel.
Just
all
say
those
smoking.
other
That's what we're
things.
saying. It makes it
You
sound
just took
cooler.
like a 3-week smoke break.
Yeah. Apparently, it's damaged my DNA,
Ah,
but
that James is so cool.
I
See, works.
So
mean-
what's new in the world of video games, my friend?
don't know. It's kind of,
He's been on
well,
vac-
you know, we're kind of in
That's
a
how
little
I
bit of
feel.
we're in a little bit of a lull because there aren't any the major holiday type releases don't start happening for another couple of weeks at least.
It's weird you said that because on Friday I looked up and I was like, I don't have anything to like. What? There's got to have been some big AAA release, and I looked at it. It was like nothing. It was do a Machina game. And I was like, I don't like that game. Deus
Yeah.
Ex, don't like it. I was
I
like,
like the first. What was it? The
let's try the new one.
no, I'm good. I've played it once.
So-
the first one came out 16 years ago.
Yeah, go play that
so,
No, I'm not playing that one. I played the one that came out on PS3 a few years back.
Sure.
that was Human Revolution.
Yeah, that one. I played that one. That was pretty fun.
So guess what I did?
What did you do?
I went back to WoW.
Why did
Against-
you do that? I know they
against
just had another expansion or update, right?
Well, because I've been playing nothing but Overwatch, like obsessively playing Overwatch, and I've heard good things about Legion. I went back to
Yeah.
World of Warcraft, and 60 hours later, I emerged ready for the pop show.
Right.
I even had to take a sick day yesterday.
Thank you for joining us, by the way. I'm glad you knew what day it was.
I lucked out. I saw people out back. Like crap, gotta stop
saw us
leveling.
walking through.
So close to 110.
Indeed. Well, I'm trying to think. There's, of course, it seems like every time I'm on, there's some sort of silly Nintendo-related news. Every time anybody says anything in the industry that can be interpreted in the slightest way to be somehow related to the forthcoming NX, the mythical unicorn console,
I don't think it's real.
it gets a lot of excitement. This time it was the Wall Street Journal on Monday published an interview with the president of the Pokemon Company, which, as you know, is co-owned by Nintendo and other interests. And he said some things about their intent to release Pokemon games on the NX and the fact that he believes the NX will something along the lines of blur the lines between home console and a handheld, which of course seems to verify what everyone believes in spite of no supporting evidence that it's going to be some sort of a mobile handheld / home-based console hybrid.
Still holding hope that that's not it.
I don't know. The thing is, if they just make another PC box for the TV, something comparable to the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox, it's not going to offer. It doesn't have anything to offer beyond what those already have. And of course, we've got the iterative versions of the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox One Scorpio coming out next year. So just having something a little bit bigger and faster that doesn't necessarily mean that gamers are going to go out and get it. I personally don't think that Nintendo is going to make much of an effort to reach out toward core gamers beyond the hardcore Nintendo audience. I think that they have concluded that ship has sailed, and they're going to let Microsoft and Sony continue to fight that out in the West. And I think that's an important distinction because Japan has always been more important to Nintendo than any other territory, and more so than any other video game manufacturer. The Genesis outsold its Japanese counterpart in America. The Xbox 360, and Xbox One have been non-entities in Japan. The Xbox One sells on average fewer than 300 units a week in Japan. It makes up like 1% of the market share there, whereas Nintendo is quite dominant with the 3DS, and the PlayStation 3 continues to see more releases than the PlayStation 4 because Japanese gamers are just not interested in home consoles anymore. So I think, once again, Nintendo is looking at the market in a very Japan-centric way and hoping that they, generate enough interest from their hardcore fans in America and Europe to justify whatever it is they're going to do. But anybody holding out hope for a powerful home-based console from Nintendo, I think, is wasting their time.
It's so dumb. They're leaving so much money on the table in America.
With so in the line of Nintendo and them branching out a little bit, we never did get to talk about the app, the Mario app.
Super Mario Run. I'm glad you brought that up.
You didn't talk about that last week?
Well, James wasn't with us last week.
Oh, okay.
Right, but you may recall that before, I'm not going to say I predicted this, but that in the week before, the last time I was on, we talked about the questionable decision of Sony scheduling its PlayStation 4 Pro reveal on the same day as Apple's big press conference. And Apple certainly took everybody by surprise with the completely unforeseen, unsuspected appearance of Shigeru Miyamoto to introduce the Super Mario Run game, which will be an iOS exclusive in 2016 and coming to Android at some later date.
They had to do something after all those iPhone upgrades.
Well, there was a bit of
great
of angst amongst the Nintendo faithful that it was not going to come to Android immediately. But I understand Nintendo's point of view there. For all of its flaws with its hardware iterations, in my opinion, one thing Apple does very well is make sure that all of its devices run perfectly with its operating systems, and that when you upgrade, it's any app that's designed to work with the current iteration of iOS will work on any other device that has that iteration. Android comes in literally hundreds of different flavors because it's open source, so Verizon makes its own adjustments to Android on all of its phones, and so does AT&T, and so on and so forth, as do the various phone manufacturers. Samsung is pretty heavy-handed with how they manipulate Android on their devices, and Motorola less so. So it's much easier for Nintendo to make this to just work for iOS 10 and get it out there and learn what they can from it, because this is really the most significant development in mobile gaming that Nintendo has undertaken. If you consider, of course, that Pokemon Go was developed by a third party. Nintendo didn't have much to do with developing it directly. Personally, I think that it was kind of a no-brainer. Anybody could have predicted that there would eventually be an endless runner with Mario in it. I do like the fact that they designed it around the idea of playing with just one hand, which and while the phone is held vertically, which is not something that most endless runners do.
I thought Temple Run was vertical, wasn't? I mean, that was one of the first big runners, isn't that vertical?
I believe you're correct. The Temple Run can be played vertically. Most of the other endless runners that we've seen, and certainly the ones that I've played, are the phones held horizontally with mixed results.
Yeah, the only one I've really played has been Temple Run, and then I saw everyone else starting to do it. I was like, all right, I'm done.
What do I look like, a dirty phone gamer? Never.
Well, you know what I really took away from the Apple, from the Mario Run announcement was that
that you love the headphones and you can't wait to get some.
All right, no, I'm not a fan of those headphones. But no, what it was that, like, it always occurs to me that Nintendo has a lot of really loyal fans. I know that we've talked about this before, but there's not a ton of, like, interaction with them because, the Wii community with the Miis or whatever, that didn't go anywhere. And, there's, like, not a lot of... I mean, there's a cooperative gaming community, but not really. Not compared to Microsoft and... PlayStation. So, like, for them to to ride those coattails of the Apple announcement, which is always a huge thing and everybody talks about for weeks in advance and whatever, I thought was just really smart marketing. You know.
Yeah.
Did you see the other thing they announced? Beats by Dr. Mario.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
You're
He's here all week,
so
folks.
Funny.
Thank you.
I mean, and to be honest, like there were so many things about the Apple announcement that I was like, ugh, you know, because like the headphones and the dumb little weird techie things that they come up with. I'm like, well, this is just stupid. But I'm excited about the app, and like honestly, that was the first thing that I saw blowing up on Twitter.
No,
You're right, and it was very shrewd of Nintendo to make that work with Apple because they got many millions of dollars in essentially free marketing.
Right.
As a result, and again, it comes back to what I said a few weeks ago that and Sony did end up kind of getting the short end of the media coverage because of that unexpected announcement. Apple almost always has at least something that we didn't see coming, and I certainly didn't think that was.
No, I tuned in.
I don't know anybody
late.
who did.
I tuned in late, so I pop on the stream and Miyamoto's on stage, and I'm like, "What's happening? I don't feel good."
Yeah.
It really took me aback for a minute.
Finally, just worth mentioning, somebody has released for PC, and I'm not aware of any takedown notices yet, a modified version of Street Fighter 3 with Harambe as the principal character.
Dicks out.
You need to Google
Dicks
this.
out
You need
for
to check
Harambe.
this out. That's the theme song is Dicks Out for Harambe. But basically the premise is that he used his psychic powers to convince the media that he had been killed so that he could train against Ryu and the other Street Fighters before embarking on a mission to save the world. It's
Wow.
great.
I like it.
Check it out.
Is that-
There's a concept for you.
I think one of my favorite Harambe pieces has been a shot glass with Harambe's face on it.
Yes,
and it
I saw this one.
It says, "Take a shot for Harambe. He took one for you."
Shot for you.
Oh.
You know, Disney's Animal Kingdom
Yeah.
They had to rename their main African part because it was named Harambe.
Really?
Well, you heard about the zoo in China that had a contest to name their baby gorilla and
Harambe face.
Yeah. Yes, Harambe.
This is why we
Seriously,
can't
though,
have nice
if you
things,
get a
Internet.
minute, Google Harambe X Street Fighter or Harambe Cross Capcom. I think that's what it's called. It's worth your time. I promise.
Everyone on
Is
the
it a
internet
video
is
or is it a
dick.
playable game?
Both.
Oh, even
Wow.
better.
All right. Well, that's what we're doing later.
Actually,
You can
I'm
bump
Googling
out
Dicks
with
Out
the
for
Dicks
Harambe.
Out for Harambe song. I don't think there's any royalties on it because who would put a copyright claim on that, right?
Oh my gosh.
Gene Simmons of Kiss. I own that.
All right, I'll
right.
be back in 2 weeks.
All right.
All right,
Thanks,
take it easy,
James.
James.
Bye, James.
Bye-bye.
Oh man.
We forgot to ask him about the soup.
And Harambe. We did go Harambe talking. It is so weird what the internet and what pop culture in general will latch onto. Like, this is a pretty tragic story all around. I mean, a kid could have been killed by a gorilla, and a gorilla was killed.
Kid should have been killed, in my opinion, but that's just me.
I don't think you can
What?
say that.
Okay, no. If the parents were watching the kid like they should have been, it wouldn't have happened. And a gorilla would have been shot, and we would have been talking about more pressing issues about Mario running on a phone. And
Who
Nintendo
else is
and X.
uncomfortable? Raise your hand if you're uncomfortable with this, cock.
no one's raising their hand other than you. But that's because everyone
I'm
else is
going to say
ignoring me.
this is more of a more comfortable topic than the double dong Jennifer Connelly
The Requiem
situation.
for a Dream.
So
Fine, double dongs out for Harambe.
Ass to ass.
can we go back to soup? I'm comfortable
Fine.
with soup.
My favorite soup, tomato.
You're
and
wrong.
Harambe.
Oh my god.
Oh,
look, here it is. All right.
Oh, look, there's a
we're-
backstory.
Well,
Okay.
Harambe's kicking some ass.
Apparently, I have seen
Harambe,
Harambe,
you
you
become
become
so
so strong.
strong.
But you shouldn't have come here.
this. Oh, wow. I don't feel like you should have read it like that.
Is he fighting
Wow.
Mew?
We're going to have to put a disclaimer on this show.
Eh.
Oh, there's Harambe versus Ken. One of my favorites.
Ken's kicking his ass.
Who do you tag out for with Harambe?
Gorilla Grodd.
What other notable gorilla deaths have there been?
Donkey Kong?
King Kong?
Nah. King Kong.
King Kong, Donkey Kong.
I like how you're the one who said you were uncomfortable with this, and you continue the conversation by asking who Harambe should tag out for.
Hashtag kicks out for Harambe was apparently what you need to tag if you're going to... Me? I'm the problem here? I don't feel like I'm the problem here. I wouldn't
What, did Nate say something?
He did not.
Who's saying you're the problem here?
I think I'm saying them.
You're not the problem.
Am I the problem?
So you know what we didn't... We should touch on real quick while Keith is here. Tell us about your virtual reality experience at Wizard World.
Oh, yeah.
Because we never did get to talk about that.
And I never did write up an article about it.
Well, you're gonna. That's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think I got a free weekend. I'll write up this weekend. Actually, no, I don't have a free weekend, but I will write it up. It was good. As someone who wears glasses regularly and forgot to wear his contacts for the con, I was able to put the, we'll talk about the logistics of it here, I guess. I was able to put the headset on with not having to take my glasses off because I'm incredibly blind without them. So that was a nice little... That's
a bonus.
Yeah, that was a nice little thing. And it was comfortable, too. It wasn't like my glasses were getting smushed in my face or it was too loose and it was falling off. It was a comfortable fit. Now, the headset was wired. My understanding of it is you have to have a computer system to handle all the gear that they've got, essentially, which was the HTC Vive. Yeah.
Which I think is, from everything I've read, that's the leader right now. That's the good one.
And it makes sense. I mean, it was really good. It was a lot of fun. I mean,
Facebook bought the Rift.
Well, they were having some technical glitches, but it was from the fact that they had been playing it for 12 hours straight the previous day, and they'd still been playing it regularly. Mm. It didn't have enough of a rest, essentially. You can't do that with any computer. You can't run the computer and expect it to run optimally after running it.
Especially with
hard
with VR. VR is heavily system
super intensive.
So
they actually let me play on the VR a lot longer because they knew that because I was talking up the lingo with them and whatnot, and they knew I understood that, when the glitches happened, it wasn't because it was crap gear. It was because their computer had been running all day.
Yeah,
it had been running all weekend. I mean, we didn't go until Sunday, so it had been. Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, all day.
Yeah, he said Saturday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Yeah, so by the time we got there, those machines were pretty taxed.
Yeah, they're overheating. They were watching the temperatures and all that stuff, and occasionally you get a white screen. As far as the gameplay...
My favorite screen.
What?
No.
Okay. As far as the gameplay, it was a lot of fun. It was addicting for being so simple. I was a little bit confined to a box, which I didn't like. I was kind of hoping there'd be some way to move around, but I was basically quote-unquote guarding a ship and just basically shooting drones that were coming at me. Was it a lot of fun? Yes. Did I look badass doing it in my head? Yes. Once you got the feel for it,
you've seen the video.
Oh yeah, I look ridiculous.
So you saw what we all saw.
Yeah, but in my head, I felt pretty sweet because you had the
you're an action hero, dude.
No, totally. I had the flash shirt on and everything. It was like my own TV show. But the first few rounds were a little rough because you got to get familiar with the controllers, which were wireless. You had two controllers, handheld controllers. They had a toggle switch, like a touch toggle switch, so to speak. It was like a dial. And then, of course, a trigger. But the handset as well, you could also put behind your back and bring it back forward, and it would change your gun into a shield. And so, and then you could switch it back if you wanted. Yeah. And the more I played with it, and one of the guys, they were giving me tips a little bit. They were like, oh, yeah, well, your shield can actually send out a pulse as well. So, you had the shield going, and I had a little trigger pulse and whatnot, and I could shoot through the shield. And they were giving me some tips here and there. It was a lot of fun. I could have played it the rest of the day, to be honest, but,
Really?
we had to get back. Yeah, it's like playing Dr. Mario.
Well, what kind of longevity do you see with an app like that? Because that's what worries me about all the VR stuff. Because I'd like to I wouldn't mind having a VR helmet.
Well, this was a headset. It wasn't much of a helmet. It was the goggles attached to like a head harness, and the head harness attached behind your head, obviously. And I tightened it up that way, so that way it wasn't like squishing my glasses. My head wasn't too tight.
Number one, it's a major investment because
it is.
You've got to get a PC that can run this, and it's
that's
pretty
kind of
hefty specs.
And that's kind of where I'm coming at it from, is
But I'm about to build a PC, a pretty hefty PC, so I could support it. But then it's another $300-$400 on top of that for the VR gear.
It was probably $500-$600. I think was the last price I saw.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a lot of money.
It is
for.
Because see, I'm
like
not
a Wii gimmick, because I didn't get much into the Wii because of the gimmick of the Wii.
See, I got into the Wii for a few games: Ghostbusters, Star Wars, Mario Kart, obviously, Smash Brothers, yeah, some of the typical stuff, but some of the stuff that was designed for the Wii. But as far as longevity, it really depends on the kind of games we're gonna get. And I asked them, I said, what kind of games are out there? They were they didn't say, oh, well, there's this really cool game that you can do this in or that.
I saw one on E3 that was just you're a pigeon flying, or like you're a falcon flying against other falcons.
Well, and see, that's
the
thing.
Graphics weren't that great because it's like.
But see, that's the thing. I asked them that, and they kind of wishy-washed it on me, and they were kind of non-descriptive. They're like, oh, all the games are going to be on Steam. Okay, well, that's great, but tell me what the games are.
I think that they have to keep with some of the more simple, like shooters and puzzles and things like that for right now, until just developers get on board with it.
Well, I think it might be. I think it might be worse than that, though. I don't know that it can technically push the kind of like bigger experiences needed to like sustain a platform like that.
I mean, I don't know.
Which is frightening. I mean, it seems like a lot of like unknowns.
There
are two things are going to have to happen. The cost is going to have to come down.
Yeah.
It's going to have to become a little more
inclusive.
I'm going to say inclusive. Like, I'm not a PC gamer, so I'm not going to go out and do this because I don't want to go out and build a PC.
Yeah, no.
And I'm not.
That's a good point.
And I used to play PC games.
You've also, lucky enough, you've got PlayStation VR coming, so you've got PlayStation that can do this.
Yeah, and I might look more into that.
You can actually go up to the Pro that's coming out. That's supposed to make it even more. And
can I not do that on the regular PS4?
You can.
Okay,
but I think
that's what I thought.
You can upscale and they'll run better on the Pro.
Yeah, but the last thing I think is going to, as far as the inclusivity and the price, it's going to be the developers. I mean, they've got to give me good games.
The stuff I'm seeing out of PlayStation with the PlayStation VR has looked like better experiences than what I've seen on the PC and with the Vive.
Yeah, like I was looking up like, okay, what are the best games for the Hive? And one of them was like the zombie shooter trainer. But again, you're staying in the same spot and you're spinning around shooting zombies that pop up.
Yeah.
Which, for mindless entertainment that you want to kind of immerse yourself in, and sometimes, I mean, that's what we need. I can play Dr. Mario for hours, and it's the same repetitive crap over and over again. But you know what? I mean, there's stuff like
Pac-Man forever.
Exactly, and it's gonna take getting games like that are enjoyable that you can play for hours just to kind of get lost in it.
That are on kind of like a lower, It's kind of like what's happened with indie developers, where they don't necessarily have the resources of these AAA titles and studios. So what they've done is they've taken and with the resources they have created fun indie games that don't necessarily push systems at all, really.
Yeah.
And use like technology from 20 years ago, sprites and whatnot. And there's been a lot of games that have come out that are like that have been incredibly fun to play. So I think you're right. I think what we need is we need developers to get in there. We need developers to start developing titles that are fun and maybe they don't push the system well. Maybe they're not super mind-blowing graphics, but we definitely need this if we're going to get to the next stage, which everybody knows is hyper-realistic VR porn. And with that, we go to our last guest of the night.
That was a horrible segue. Oh my gosh.
How about VR documentaries that we get immersed into?
That's a better segue.
Oh my gosh. Chris Campbell, thank you for joining us.
Documentaries.
Hi guys.
Have you tried any VR?
I have not, because I have not been to a film festival in a while and been able to sample them there. Or the film festivals that I've been to have not had the VR experiences, but I should give them a try, I know.
Yeah, it's we got to try VR at a con we went to, Keith and I went to a couple weeks ago. I mean, and it was a cool thing. I think it was cooler than I thought. But, the interesting thing is that it's been around. It's been around for a while, and it's been sort of subtly developing and changing under the surface. There's always someone that's been working on it.
What's that, VR?
Yeah, VR for decades.
Yeah,
so
I remember playing the old, back in like 95 when they had the old VR units with the giant headset.
Yeah, and you'd go to like Dave and, I would go to
Breaking
like Dave and Buster's, or what we had Jillian's around here that you could go to doing the VR on there, but that was about it for me.
But Chris is not here to talk about VR. Chris is here to talk about documentaries.
Yes, and VR documentaries kind of sounds scarier to me than fiction than fiction VR. I don't know why that is, but it just sounds
Okay, if you had to experience one documentary in virtual reality, what documentary would it be? Mine would be Crumb.
Oh gosh. That would be amazing. I don't know. Probably something that's already sort of immersive and trippy, like Koyaanisqatsi or something like that. I don't know. That's the first thing that came to my head. Because I'm thinking of like IMAX type stuff, which already feels immersive, but that's not really the way to go. I'll have to think about it for a minute.
Yeah, that is a good question. I'll have to think about that one too.
Making a Murderer.
Oh my gosh.
Just the courtroom scenes.
Oh man, yes. Let's all go to Manitowoc County in our wildest fantasies, where we could go anywhere and do anything. We're going to Manitowoc County.
Okay,
Cosmos. Not really a documentary, but
get Cosmos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Neil deGrasse Tyson or Carl Sagan?
Both.
Well, we're in VR. We can do anything.
Exactly.
Brings you right back to VR porn.
I'm trying to go through some of my favorite documentaries, and the next thing that I thought of was Man on Wire, where you would just be up there.
Oh,
I couldn't handle it.
That would be cool.
I'd be in.
But again, The Walk kind of does that, or tries to do that immersive experience,
which I still haven't seen.
Was that
yet.
that Joseph Gordon-Levitt movie?
Yes.
Okay. I loved Man on Wire so much, but I haven't watched The Walk yet. I feel like I missed out because I didn't watch it in 3D on.
How come no one wants to do Finders Keeper in VR?
I don't. Oh yeah.
Don't you want to hold that leg in your hand?
I don't know.
Virtual hand.
I've been dieting, so I might go with like Super Size Me, honestly, because like I'm so like I've been, and I've been good. I've been eating like my vegetables or whatever, but I kind of miss junk food. So
I want to go to like the backwoods of North Carolina and hold that leg and have all the cholesterol just drip out of it.
Yeah, we watched Finders Keepers.
Yeah.
And that was an interesting experience for us. So what else is
interesting?
What's new?
Actually, you mentioned Morgan Spurlock. He has a brand new documentary, and this you do not want to do in virtual reality. It's called Rats.
Ugh.
And it is being sold as sort of a horror documentary. It just played Toronto at midnight screenings, and it's going to be on the Discovery Channel. But before then, this weekend, it is playing in a number of landmark theaters around the country. I'm not sure of all of them. I don't think it's playing here in Atlanta for some reason, but it's playing landmark theaters midnight showings this weekend as its debut. So it's kind of going for that dark, that very rare like horror type scary documentary kind of thing that doesn't usually work out very well. I think this is Morgan Spurlock's best film, and I only really like 3 of his films. One is Super Size Me, which I think is pretty good. Especially for the introduction to him. The other one that I like of his is actually his only other documentary that I know of where he doesn't do the on-screen, his personality is the whole thing movie, and that was the Comic-Con documentary he did a few years ago.
That's a good one. I'm unashamed, or I'm an unabashed fan of Morgan Spurlock.
Yeah,
I love him. I like his shtick. I could get why you wouldn't.
I mean, I like him.
I like his shtick, but for some reason,
movies don't quite live up to his shtick.
Right. I mean, the greatest movie ever sold, I think, is really awful. But I wanted to love it because I liked him in Super Size Me, and I liked him in other things.
On another level, though, don't you feel like he kind of set out to purposely make a bad movie? I feel like it was part of the experiment, if you will.
I don't know. I feel like they didn't appreciate my F grade on that one, so So that would be the answer.
Oh,
for that.
oh, Chris, alienating them one doc at a time.
Right, but rats. I mean, it's based on this book that I read probably about 10 years ago. That's about, I mean, rats. It's like everything you ever want to know about rats. And I read it while I was still living in New York City, which is a big. It's one of the main locations of the film. They also go to India and England, and it's sort of manipulative in terms of its score and sound effects, and there's some jump scares that it hits at you to make it more of like a horror film. But I think it's informative. I think it's really effective. The score is the best Carpenter-esque score since Stranger Things, which isn't that long ago.
I'm totally in. I'm looking up dates now.
Wow. Well, it's funny.
I mean, it's definitely going to disturb you. Don't eat while you watch it. There's dissections of rats with where you see some of the parasites. There's just some things that you will that will turn your stomach even if you haven't eaten in a while.
Now
but it's really good.
You're in Atlanta now, right?
Yes.
Atlanta has a little bit of a rat situation. And I know this for living there.
I don't know.
Yeah, they so while I owned a home in Decatur, which is not far outside of Atlanta, I had
I used to live there myself.
I had myself some visitors in my attic. And when the
mice are like full blown rats.
No, they were rats. And when the exterminator came out and he vacuumed out the whole attic, all the insulation was gone, because that was how horrified I was. And and then right after that, a magazine, I can't remember which one, had published an article about how Atlanta's the largest city in the country that doesn't treat rodent infestation as a public health concern, and that they weren't doing anything about rodents in the city of Atlanta until city council members started having their lunches stolen because there were rats invading the break rooms and things like that. Not to freak you out.
No, it doesn't freak me out. I mean, like I said, I lived in New York.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I see them all the time, and they were in my walls and all that. And I haven't seen any here. So
what did they say? You're only a few feet from rats at any time in New York?
Yeah. Oh God. Okay, we got to talk about another one.
All right.
What else you got?
I'll just say that if you like horror movies, there's a exterminator who's sort of the main interviewee in Rats that kind of is if a fiction movie, Tony Todd would have the role. It's that kind of boogeyman-esque
that's fantastic.
Horror type staple, the old guy, the old wise guy who knows and tells you all about the horror.
Okay.
It's really interesting. All right, for something more cheerful, one of my favorite docs of the year that opened a couple weeks ago and is expanding to numerous theaters around the country. I think it's going to hit at least 100 cities pretty soon, is Kate Plays Christine. And I was kind of joking about the cheerfulness because it's about a famous on-air suicide, Christine Chubbuck, who killed herself. She was a newscaster in Sarasota in 1974. There's actually 2 films about this woman out this year. Both of them debuted at Sundance. One of them is a fiction, not fiction because it's a true story, but a drama starring Rebecca Hall called Christine. And then this one's called Kate Plays Christine. And it's more of a, I mean, I know people that won't consider it a documentary. That's all I'll say, because it stars actress Caitlin Scheel as she's preparing for a role to play Christine Chubbuck. And while she's researching the role, she interviews people about it. So it has that. So that's how they get the conventional type documentary elements, is that she is an actress interviewing people. And there's some, dramatic and fictionalized elements to it. But it's not like any other film that you'll see this year. It's just a very complex nonfiction film.
Wow. Yeah, that's I having come up through the ranks in journalism and studying it or whatever. That's a pretty shocking story in the TV business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have the footage, and supposedly the footage does exist, but it's a myth, and it actually addresses that in the film. It's all interesting stuff.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah, it looks. What I was just reading up on it real fast. Apparently, all copies were destroyed by request of her family. Not that I was looking to find
supposedly
it.
There's one that existed in a vault, but the owner died fairly recently. So now I think that his wife, he was like the station owner or something like that, and his wife, I think, is trying to figure out what to do with it, if it actually exists, if that's true.
I also heard that was the rumored plot for the next Indiana Jones movie, is to actually find that videotape.
Oh my gosh.
Is it not?
I hope not.
No. I cannot confirm or deny that.
Do aliens have it?
It's a Popped exclusive.
Oh my god.
As long as Shia LaBeouf's not in it, I don't care.
I'm just trying to make it light.
Yeah, there's no way you
feel
can make
so
that light.
bad right now for her.
So Chris, we got to ask you, did you ever see Tickled?
Yeah, I did see Tickled. I saw it earlier this year. I think did we talk about it the last time?
Oh, we did. Oh, okay. I didn't remember if you'd seen it because we had it on our list to see, and then it came here at one of our indie theaters, and then of course it was like the one day that we couldn't drop everything and go see it, so we didn't. And then this Wednesday, so we have a really great local theater here in Norfolk that plays documentaries on Wednesdays, and this Wednesday we've got Incarcerating U.S. or Us. I think it's.
I think it's meant to be kind of
Us,
ambiguous,
US.
yeah, because it's supposed to talk about the high incarceration rate in America,
prison systems,
basically.
Yeah.
Have you seen it at all, Chris, or heard of anything about it?
I haven't. I'm not even sure what that is.
Yeah, it's a documentary about the prison system. I mean, every Wednesday, like Sarah said, they show documentaries, so we started to kind of take note of what they're showing. So
yeah,
figure we see if you'd heard of it.
Yeah. Well, do you have any other picks for us to look out for?
For in the theaters, the author J.T. Leroy story. I'm not sure how many theaters that's in right now, but that's definitely an interesting film to see about J.T. Leroy, the famous pen name / hoax by author Laura Albert a few years ago, and I kind of consider it that she sort of was the literary catfish, but it doesn't have it's not that kind of documentary like Tickled or Catfish. It's
what was
pretty
the title
straightforward
again?
Story. What?
J.T. Leroy.
That's gonna be showing at the Narrow in the next week or two.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Cool.
that's actually gonna be here at that local theater we were just talking about.
Nice.
So that is definitely worth seeing because it's such a crazy story, and I mean it's the kind of story that there's some other documentaries about it. I think they're making if this is still happening, I believe Kristen Stewart is making a film about the story, but this particular version of the story is just it's just really fast, and the storytelling is just really, really engaging and really interesting. There's some controversy with it now because I guess Laura Albert recorded all these phone calls with people like her publishers and her psychiatrist and Asia Argento, who is involved in the story. All these people that you see in the story, and while watching it, you're like, how did they get permission to use all these phone recordings and footage that makes all these celebrities look bad? Because all these celebrities were hanging out with like this made-up author, basically, like this nobody who was posing as J.T. Leroy, the fake author, because Laura Albert had made her up. And so obviously all these people are embarrassed about that now and don't want to be a part of the story. And now it's turned out that a lot of these recordings may not have been legally employed in the film. So we'll see how that turns out. Maybe, who knows, maybe the film will just disappear because of legalities. I don't know if that still happens anymore.
Well, it sure does in journalism. So, I mean, that's all kinds of lawsuits waiting to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, cool. I don't know. I'm
Sounds
excited
fun.
about that one. Yeah, I love a good pen name, assumed identity.
Yeah, I've really been meaning to just lead a fake life.
Yeah, I don't really. It's so hard leading my regular life that I feel like I can't do another one.
I don't think I'm cool enough to pass that off.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll try. I'll try it out at the work release on Thursday.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, one of the fascinating things about her story about Laura Albert is that she was making up. She made up J.T. Leroy, and then she made up this other character who she would play in person. And there was all these other identities while she was on the rise as an author, and they all had backstories and everything. So it's kind of like the woman in Catfish that had all these multiple identities on Facebook, and the way that she had to keep track of them and have certain people in certain places at the same time, and have the woman who her sister-in-law who would play J.T. Leroy would be like in a meeting with Asia Argento about making a movie of her book, and then she would have to be on a call later and know exactly what was said during that meeting. And it's that kind of jumbling. I can't believe that anyone could pull that off, and she was able to do it for a substantial amount of time until a journalist decided to leak the story, or dig into the story, and finally leaked it out.
That's like admirably organized. If you can channel that into like some sort of productive societal effort as opposed to living, like imagine all the, well, I mean, being an author, that's nothing to sneeze at, but I mean, geez, use your powers for good, not deception.
More importantly, I feel like it's been like 15 years since I've even thought about the name Asia Argento.
Yeah, well,
Which is
all
odd.
right, now you know.
Yeah, now I got pics.
All right, well, Chris, where can we find you online to read more of your awesome readings?
On Nonfix, on Film School Rejects. Once in a while, I'll write about nonfiction, even though that and Nonfix are a united site. So one, I kind of write about mainstream movies, and one I write about documentaries when I can. This week or sometime soon, I'll tease that I have a list of the best documentaries of 2016 so far coming out on Thrillist.com. That should be either at the end of this week or early next week, and it will be updated at the end of the year. But so you can see my 20 favorites of the year so far on there.
Awesome. Well, when that goes live, we will share it, and we will talk to you soon.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks for having me again, guys.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
You okay over there?
I forget that my screen's on camera.
Okay.
Might have had topless pics of Asia Argento up on my...
Hey,
not on purpose.
Whatever.
I was like, Asia Argento. I remember that name. She used to be an actress back. I think she was in like Triple X. The movie with the Vin Diesel.
Triple X?
What did I say?
What did I say?
Did I say double X?
I don't know. I wasn't listening to you. I was
say?
busy looking up Christine Krubba because I hadn't heard of this
I thought
before.
I said
So
Triple X. No, I was looking up that too earlier. But just,
I mean, that's recently that they claimed the video has been located, like June 2016.
Oh, so there is a video.
There is a video.
Oh, I got bad information.
Yeah, she killed herself during a live shot.
Yeah, I know. And morbid curiosity.
After what I saw, was it last year? I don't ever want to see anybody killing themselves, or I don't want to see anybody getting killed on video ever again.
The Roanoke stuff.
Yeah,
that was just bad timing on my part.
See, I can't go see this J.T. Leroy documentary because all I'm going to be wanting to say is Jenkins after they say Leroy every time.
I'm okay with this. I say we go.
Well, I'm going to that one by myself.
I gotta tell you,
I'll go with you, but you're just going to be hearing me.
No.
Jenkins.
That's an excellent reason for you to not go with me.
Out of all of them, I'm most interested in Rats. I'm unashamed of my love of Morgan Spurlock.
No,
I love everything
I like
he does.
Morgan Spurlock too.
I love
and
his FX show. I love his CNN show that's on currently. I love Morgan Spurlock.
I'm going to. I don't know if we'll see that one because I might not sleep.
But where's it airing?
No, I mean, well, eventually it'll
On
be
Discovery.
on. It'll eventually be on something.
Yeah, he said it was going to be on Discovery.
Yeah, but it's compelling subject matter because, rats had a significant part in reducing populations of continents.
Black Plague.
And, it's interesting. It's a good way to get
Crowd control?
No.
Jeez.
Jeez, you're dark today.
I feel like we're all dark.
I think you guys are just being racist. I'm not dark.
Oh my God. I'm
October 22nd on Discovery Channel.
Okay.
You can find.
Is that on Is Discovery Channel on PlayStation View? That's covered by PlayStation View, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna say yes.
We've discussed the PlayStation View, but we're not really sure if we
love it.
want to go into it. But I mean, it goes back to the.
I love it because
it's another app to
scratches
have.
I know. we had this. We were gonna discuss on the show.
That's kind of what I was trying to segue to.
We don't have time now. We don't have time for that. I see. It scratches an itch for me because a lot of times I'll do stuff and I like to just put stuff on. Well, it's going away slowly. I like to just put something on, and one of my favorite things to put on is the HG network. And just watch home flipping.
Oh yeah, no, I had jury duty, and they had that playing in the waiting room.
I love Flip or Flop,
and it's that's one of the few reality things I could probably watch.
Yeah, I like the Property Brothers, all of those shows. I'll put those on in the background and just let the HG network just go for hours. Same with Food Network, although I'm not allowed to watch Food Network anymore because I make too many noises. I don't really watch porn because that's not my thing. But the Food Network, oh yeah. Yeah, put that buttercream frosting on that.
Oh, I heard Good Morning You Drunks last night. Don't worry. I figured that was pretty close.
That's true. That's true. Well, speaking of glazed, I think it's time for the Kanye West Twitter bot to do his thing. We're actually doing things on time today. We've been hitting our times.
Glazed.
That's the name of the shop. Glazed.
What does that have to do with Kanye West?
Nothing.
All right.
Haven't you noticed that my bit is segues that don't have anything to do with anything? It's my bit.
Your bit is
that's my bit.
Ever emerging.
It's all a bit. It's all a bit, Sarah. That's what you gotta understand. The world's a bit. The world's my bit.
Nah.
No?
Nah.
No.
Sure.
But okay. Whatever floats your boat. Whatever blows your skirt
just
up.
Be you. No need for a bit.
Stalling.
No need for a bit.
Nah, it's gotta be a bit.
Nah, it doesn't have to be a bit. None of my stuff's bit. This is just me.
Yeah, no, this
is
me being an asshole is just me.
I feel like that's your bit.
That's not a bit. That's just me.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God, you're a bad person.
Yeah.
It's pretty terrible.
Talk to most people that know me.
I'm the better half. That's how that works.
That's true. She balances me out.
I do.
And we discussed this the other day. She's making me soft. I don't know how I like it.
You want to go shoot a gorilla tonight?
Might have to.
Don't shoot a gorilla.
Get your hardness back.
Don't shoot.
Usually leave that to her.
Oh, okay.
Say what now?
He said you need to get your hardness back. I said, yeah, I usually leave that to you.
That's a boner joke. That's like the second
Penis.
boner reference we've had today.
I like that bit.
It's not a bit.
Hey, let's fire up the
I make these
Kanye
jokes
West
at work.
Twitter bot.
Kanye, sign up. Kanye, come on, fam. Man, you know you like fish dick. Are you a gay fish, Kanye? Come on, Kanye. Come on, guys, come on. Are you a gay fish?
Yes, definitely.
I got rid of my phone so I can have air to create.
What?
Creating fame over here, suckers. We famous. We rich and ain't never putting clothes on.
I don't know how much of the Kanye West Twitter bot is actually Kanye West Twitter and how much of it is Justin at this point. I gotta pull back to.
I don't even want to go to Kanye West's Twitter to find out.
I don't want to know. I never want to know.
You know what I would do if I was Kanye West? Hire Justin to tweet for me. Because the fact that we can't tell what's Justin and what's Kanye means.
I feel like that could go either way.
Justin, I think Kanye might be your spirit animal.
What was that last line?
Or you might be his. Was it We Naked?
No, it was we don't have any clothes on or something like that. We too rich. We too rich for clothes.
We rich and ain't never putting clothes on.
Yeah.
I feel like that could go either way.
We rich and ain't never putting clothes on.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
If Kanye West, if some horrible tragedy ever befalls him, we will get Justin and we will get a Ouija board, and Justin will be able to communicate with Kanye's ghost.
Keeping him alive.
And keep him alive through the Kanye West Twitter bot. Justin will be able to tweet for Kanye from beyond the grave.
Wouldn't that
Tweet
just
for
be
Kanye.
like Kanye ghost bot at that point?
Yes.
You
It
know
will
what I
be the
say.
Kanye ghost bot.
Okay.
You know what I say?
What?
Dick's out for Kanye.
Well, he's not wearing clothes. We famous.
Where can people find this? Like, if they
Do they want
if they-
to
if they
after the
want to
show?
if they want to take all the fun that they just had, because you know what, I'm calling you on this. This was a damn good show, and this was fun.
It was a
and
fun
people
show.
listening, they're entertained, and that's what's important. Also, they famous. They famous and they ain't never putting clothes on.
And they might not be putting clothes on.
They famous, they naked.
Sarah, where can they find us?
If you want to tweet us with the Twitter goodness, we're at Popped Show. If you want to find us on Facebook, it's facebook.com/poppedrfr. And if you like what you hear, you can rewatch or /re-listen to our wonderful show on YouTube, which is youtube.com/Radio Free Radio DMF for the whole station. And if you really like what you hear, consider pledging $1 to our Patreon. Just $1 a month helps us make this awesome content and supports a lot of really great local shows that do a lot to support local art, which is huge.
$500 gets us rich, and we ain't never putting clothes on.
Oh, we be naked. We naked for $500.
Speaking of naked, Feral Conservatives, play us out.